Hello, everyone. I all hope you had a very, very wonderful and very, very beautiful day. On the last episode, we spoke about the history of Sacred Five, and we spoke about the history of Sacred Five, guys. And then, which is exactly what I told you. This today we're gonna speak about the members of Sacred Five and how many are there, how many members are, and how many members who are still present in this secret society and in its organization exactly. And I all hope you guys are having a very warm and a very, very beautiful day. As you can see, the sky is quietly up. It's beautiful. The sun is quietly up and it's quietly beautiful. It's very quietly warmy, but it's a bit quietly windy because the door on my other side is quietly banging and hitting. But anyway, let's exactly get into it. I swore believed that the known universe and the sacred universe will be under his control when the Lolo magic has already passed on. In doing so, he viewed the universal heroes and the United Heroes and the Alliance and the Four Nation Hunters as a threat to his plan. He came to the conclusion that he will become the next ruler of the rest of sacred existence. In doing so, he decided to form his ancient secret society, decided to assemble a group of people that existed for millennia, and decided to extend some few invitations to other powerful criminals known as Water Queen, Sacred Light, Sacred Master, Light Master, Power Face, Sacred Face, Note and Night, 9, 7 and 9, 7 and 9, Golden Spot, golden spot, white, white spot, white spot, dark witch, dark witch, dark witch. Exactly meaning 11 members, 11 villains all together who are led by the founder and leader of the ancient secret society known as Icewall. Icewall decided that it's time that he joins forces and forms alliance with other powerful criminals that I just exactly mentioned to you, with the other powerful criminals who are quietly well connected, using their driven talents and their expertise and their dark powers and abilities and connections through the underworld, and their influence and power, and an influence and power through the sacred world and through the sacred universe and through human and through the realm of humanity, and also the known universe and also the sacred universe and the sacred world itself. In doing so, in order for his ultimate goal to come to fruition and to reach and to come to pass exactly. On the 17th of January, the members of Sacred Five were able to reconvene in an ancient ice temple to exactly speak about the operation. The Water Queen wanted to know that will the Universal Heroes be destroyed or will they exactly be killed? I also reassured her that the warlocks, the Shadow Empire warlords would exactly make sure that the plan is quietly working, the plan is quietly in place, and the event of the war will quietly fall to secretly fall to our under control, as he reassured the members of Sacred Five, stating that everything else will fall into control and that the event will swiftly fall under our control. And the next day, hearing the news that the Shen Empire warlords and commanders an enormous amount of fleets of battle cruisers were decimated from the battle against the Intergalactic Coalition and the United Heroes. They were able to reconvene to discuss the outcome of the operation. The Dark Witch wanted to know that the Shadow Empire warlords failed miserably with their mission, and as well as a task stating that Icewall's plans could have easily been running up in order for them to control some other worlds and other planets, but stating that the founders in the Order of the Five are the ones quietly in control of the remaining worlds and the remaining planets, and the other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders are still exactly waging war with each other and are still trying to seek some subtitle control through the intergalactic coalition's outposts and territories. Oswald stated that the plan is quite going exactly the way it's supposed to be because the enemy doesn't know exactly what hit them, and controlling the remaining territories of the universal heroes and remaining worlds, meaning that it's time for phase two. Water Queen exactly stated it's time that she prepares her army and her troops and her great gods and her great world gods in order to defend her entire world and population from the Shadow Empire Ice World states that there is no need for such drastic action to be taken. Allow the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders to conquer the worlds under your territory in order to draw the attention of the Universal Heroes and the United Heroes, which is successfully exactly played the way it did. The Shadow Empire warlords and commanders launched a full-scale invasion on the other worlds, using their armada and fleets to wage wars on other planets and worlds in order to conquer them, especially one world that's under the control of a supervillain known as the Water Queen, who is a high-ranking member who's a high-ranking member of a secret society of supervillains known as Sacred Five. Water Queen told the troops to allow the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders to conquer the worlds and planets and not for them to exactly engage. But the United Heroes were able to, some of the members of the United Heroes were able to were able to attend the battlefield. Magic Man uses his found magical abilities and powers to warn off the battle cruisers with his magic and powers and abilities to destroy some of the battle cruisers and the other Shadow Empire warlords commanders, while the rest of the members of the United Heroes use their founding abilities and superpowers in order to fight up some of the other Shadow Empire warlords commanders on the ground, able to controlling the battle from the atmosphere and also to the ground itself. By doing so, both sides didn't suffer enormous amounts of casualties. The enemy was neutralized, and their battleships and battle cruisers and warships were completely decimated by a huge magical blast that Magic Man was able to conjure with his magical abilities. In doing so, able to deflect the battle cruisers' long dog weaponry cannon that was prepared to destroy the cities and civilizations in the other worlds, which was able to be deflected by Magic Man's magical shield and power and magic, which was able to save those inhabitants and the rest of the inhabitants. The great water troops were able, the great world guard of the water troops were able to inform Water Queen, stating that the United Heroes and the Intergalactic Coalition were able to defend their territories and their homeworlds, thinking that their plan could have easily worked well, but it could have exactly taken a major depletion of drastic action. Water Queen reassured her troops that the plan is exactly the way it's supposed to go, meaning it went exactly as planned and the way it was supposed to go, meaning everything else has fallen into place. Now Sacred Five can now proceed with the next phase of their master plan in manipulating the sacred war and going after the sacred galactic powers for control over the other worlds and over the other civilizations, and over the other worlds and over the other civilization. Sacred Light was able to speak with these operatives, on the 10th of March, able to exactly speak with his operatives, stating that the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders have exactly controlled many worlds and many planets, and the Intergalactic Coalition has managed to deliver a very, very powerful blow against the Shadow Empire warlords commanders. But his operatives told him that their plan and tactics could never exactly work well or could easily be deflected on any other case. He told his operatives and agents to wreak havoc across the known worlds and across the known civilizations in order to distract the heroes, and sway their attention away. But they told them that the new Lord of Magic secret society and his forces are the one wreaking havoc on other worlds and controlling them, and have exactly partnered up with another ancient secret society known as the Order of Secrets to controlling other worlds and other planets. Looks like Sacred Light realized that the Sacred Five can't exactly control other worlds, or manipulate the event to their advantage. But he realized that there is one thing that they can exactly do: controlling the battle to their advantage would exactly benefit them in most pivotal ways. He told his agents and his operatives to allow the heroes entry to the other worlds and other planets as a way of showing them that we quietly appreciate them of their work and as well as their services. The agents quietly complied, and they sadistically agreed with that exactly, and they sadistically complied with this, and they were able to exactly do that. The Sacred team were able to launch a counter attack against the Shadow Empire warlords on the other worlds, who were quietly protecting the ancient temple by using their powers and mystic energy. Universal Magical was able to use her mystic powers and her magical powers and abilities with the help of Lytris Fireside in restoring the magical temple back to its rightful glory as the way it's supposed to be, by using her found new powers and restoring the temple back to its greatest glory, in a way that Nebula Bringer in a way that Nebula Bringer was the one who orchestrated all of this to exactly fall, who orchestrated the event to exactly fall under the control of the order of the five, not of the sacred five. Magical user magical found abilities in restoring the temple back to its rightful glory, to its glorious power, and regenerating the crystals with its life force and with its magical life force and with its blue magical life force and greater energy. By doing so, some of the sacred team are able to fight off some of the other Shadow Empire warlords, and commanders are able to neutralize them and restoring the temple back to its rightful glory, and in also cleansing the dark druid and also the dark faithful of their dark magic and their dark powers, and cleansing them and giving them light magic and blue magic in order to restore them back to their control. After the dark druid and the dark faithful were cleansed and restored to their rightful self, and their magic became life-giving magic and beautiful energy magic, they were quietly thankful of the sacred team and Universal Magic Girl, and quietly proud to say that they are quietly willing to join the team and are willing to help the team save the world and to save the sacred universe and to save the supernatural races and the rest of existence, if they can exactly assist and help and repay the damage that they've quietly caused. Universal Magic Girl and the rest of the sacred team are quietly proud and very quietly happy with the success, and they were able to retreat before the other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders were able to successfully waken up and regain control of the temple before that exactly happened. Universal Magica was able to inform Universal Earthman, in telling him that the temple has been exactly being restored to rightful glory, and the cleansing of the Dark Druid and the Dark Faithful has been a successful mission. In other words, and stating that the royal gods of the temple, allow them access to the temple freely without resistance or without trying to fight them back. But some of the other operatives were quietly fighting them back and were quietly eager to take them down. And she also stated and also mentioned that she felt Nebula Bringer's energy within the temple, saying that she was somewhere within the temple's presence and she could exactly feel it. Universal Earthman stated that the team did exactly a wonderful job and a wonderful, great job in cleansing the Dark Druid and the Dark Faithful, and in restoring their magical powers and their new abilities, and giving them newfound magical abilities of life-giving magic and life-giving energy, which exactly they are no longer the Dark Druid or the Dark Faithful. They are now the blue Druid and the blue faithful, and now the good Druid and a good faithful. They are now one of the good guys now, exactly. Nebula Bringer was able to meet up with Witchcaster, on the 13th of June, on the 13th of March, stating that the plan will exactly work the way it's supposed to be and that everything else is under schedule. Sacred 5 can now proceed with the next phase of the plan. Witchcaster was quietly pleased and beside herself, stating that everything else is quietly in order. She will exactly inform the members of Sacred 5 herself. She teleported away straightly and entered through the Ice Temple and reconvened with the members of Sacred 5 and told them the plan is quietly working accordingly as the way it's supposed to be. The heroes have successfully restored the temple back to its righteous glory, and they successfully cleansed the Dark Druid and the Dark Faithful and gave them life-giving magic and life-giving energy, which restored them back to their natural selves and to regaining their natural selves and to regaining their true selves exactly. Icewall and Lightmaster were quietly pleased and were quietly happy that now it's time for the next phase of the plan. The Shadow Empire warlords and commanders launched a full-scaling attack at the Intergalactic Coalition central headquarters. With their battle cruisers and warships, the war from two sides waged on for days and for days and for days, as the New Nolo Magic's forces quickly took control of the territories that the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders were unable to exactly to protect at the time, using this time to take advantage of the battle while the enemy is distracted by fighting the other enemy. They quickly conquered many worlds and many civilizations. The Intergalactic Coalition was able to defeat a major fleet of battle cruisers and decimate some of the major fleet of battle cruisers, and were able to take some of the enemy straight into custody, sending them straightly into the Astral Prison or into the Sacred Prison or into the Dark Ark. They exactly sent them straightly into the Dark Ark or to the Sacred Prison or to the Astral Prison. They knew that the Astral Prison was quietly compromised, and it was quietly literally compromised by Professor's world control. Universal Man stated that sending the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders to the Astral Prison is a wise idea, and sending some of them to the Dark Ark is also a wise idea, and also to the Sacred Prison would exactly help in enabling and who's exactly helping, enabling, identifying who's exactly behind this orchestration of orchestrated all of this event and secretly pacing under control. Iceworld became more quietly impatient than ever at that time on the 2nd of April, as he watched as he heard the news of the Shen Empire Warlords and Commander's failure. He became quietly impatient and decided it's time that he take control of the action. When hearing of the when Lightmaster told him that there will be a summit taking place with the forces of the New Lunar Magic and the forces of the Order of Secrets, and the members of the Order of Secrets would exactly meet to discuss their setbacks and the recent fallbacks. Iceworld decided it's time that he will be able to attack. That it will be the perfect time for him to be able to attack and strike while the enemy is distracted. With the heroes are planning a powerful ambushing attack at the enemy's base of location of operation, which would be the right time. The summit didn't quietly go as quietly planned as there were battles against the enemy, forcing the Lola Magic's forces. The forces of the Lola Magic's forces were quietly splintered, and the new ancient secret society of Super Villain, the Order of Secrets, was broken in half, as in cut in half. The members and operatives were all captured by the team during the battle. Some of them were able to escape. Blackman was able to escape through a portal. Was able to escape through a portal by a powerful dog warlock known as Pete. Was able to create a huge portal and allowing him to escape. The other dog druid was able to teleport away. The other members of the Order of Secrets were able to continue the fight against the Sacred Team and against the Universal Earth Heroes in trying to bring them down. As the other forces of the Lola Magic continue fighting against the members of the Universal Earth Heroes, Ice will open up a portal directly to the central headquarters of the warship, fighting the gods of the New Lola Magic's forces and destroying them with his magic and his new ability, taking control of the central headquarters of the battle cruisers and exactly headed straightly to outer space. Literally, he flew out from the sector near to the solar system. He flew out out of the sector of the solar system and was able to straightly leave the solar system straightly away and headed straightly to deep space, meaning straightly into the sacred universe. He exactly made a holographic message stating to the rest of the galaxy that this is Iceworld and that he's from the sacred world and from the sacred universe, and that the rest of the galaxy should fear me because I now exactly have returned and I will take control and conquering all the worlds and all the civilization. Anyone else who dares to not exactly submit or exactly bow down to my rules will face a horror, or will face my worth and will face my wrath. And as a sign to exactly as a show to exactly demonstrate his powers and demonstrating his power and his ability and his word stating, showing the inhabitants and the other aliens of the other known galaxies and the other aliens of the known other galaxies and the other aliens of the known worlds and the known planets. He showed them and made an example as he destroyed one world and one planet, stating that now the sacred universe and the sacred world is now under my control and it will remain so. Anyone else who dares disobeys my orders or anything will face a retribution of a very, very fearful punishment, or anyone else who may dare attack the sacred world or the sacred universe or the golden universe or the star universe or the mixel, the robotic universe. Anyone else who dares make an incursion or an invasion will face my word or my punishment, because those universes now belong to me. And this created a huge war with the other ancient secret societies of Supervillain, as Iceworld was completely aware of that, literally completely aware of that. The Dark King was able to pick up his holographic message at that time of the year, at that time of the year on the third of April, and was quietly displeased and quietly, very much quietly unhappy, or successfully unhappy, and not very much quietly happy, or successfully unhappy, or not exactly happy with this, seeing the results of the event unfolding under his control or the founder's control. He stated that Iceworld's new secret society will pose a magnificent threat to his long-term plans and to his goal. He stated that it's time that he takes action of this war one way or another. The Sacred Team and the Universal Heroes were able to take some of the other bad guys into custody, while the others were able to escape through a portal, through teleportation, and some of them were able to escape through rocket launchers and were able to disappear. But they were able to successfully get a victory, able to exactly won the battle and commanded a huge major victory on the battle scenes against the Order of Secrets and against the new forces of the New Normal Magics able to take down the enemy and putting them down and purposely neutralizing them. Lightmaster came through another portal. Lightmaster came through another portal within the Shadow Empire's outpost, able to successfully taking down taking down the other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders, taking over the territory, stating that to the other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders that he is now in charge and he's now leading. He's now leading this outpost. This outpost is now under his control and under his sole control. Anyone else who may dare disobey him or not exactly submit to his rule or pledge his allegiance will suffer a fate far worse than death. The other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders pledged their allegiance and their infidelity to him exactly. Sacred Light did the exact same thing. Sacred Light did the exact same thing as a Dark Witch opened up a portal, to the other known world, stating that he is here to reclaim the other worlds and the other civilization, and that now they belong to Sacred Five, and that they will be now under the control of Sacred Five and under the control of Sacred Five, and their services will now forever be in the they'll forever be in services of the Sacred Five. One inhabitant exactly refused to bow down or to kneel to Sacred Five, but Sacred Light made an example and killed them, running from the other inhabitants, forcing them all to submit and to extremely bow down to him. The Watcher Queen is able to use her dark magic water powers in order to recreating a powerful temple at the center of the known world, in order to state her territory, in order to make an example, in order to making her territory felt, in order to making her presence and her territory to be felt and to be known to the known worlds, to the known magical worlds, and to the known magical civilization, stating that now Sacred Five controls these magical worlds and controls these magical territories. They're now under the control of the Sacred Five, and they'll remain doing so. Anyone else who dares disobey or disobeys my rule or my allegiance will suffer a fate far worse than death, or not submit or place their allegiance or their loyalty to me will suffer a fate far worse than death. And Immortal Queen was able to use her dark magic water power to execute one inhabitant in front of the others, and the others quickly bowed down and then quickly submitted to her rule as exactly as planned. White Spot, on the other hand, was able to control a fleet of battle cruisers across space, sending them across the Golden Universe to control the Golden Universe and to conquer the Golden Universe. The other fleets of the other Golden Masters fleets were able to fight back, but during that time of fighting them back, they were all quickly decimated and all quickly overpowered, as White Spot stated that now the Golden Universe belongs to Sacred Five and also to his secret society and also to its organization. It is now under the control of Sacred Five. It belongs to us. So do the inhabitants as well. The Dark Witch was able to create more dark experiments and more dark destructive technologies with the Dark Druids and with the Dark Witches and with the Dark Faithful, able to make sure that this ancient secret society of supervillains known as Sacred Five will remain the dominant force in the entire known universe and in the rest of sacred existence, which is exactly what she did. She kept on experimenting and harnessing the powers of the dark entity and harnessing the powers of shadow energy in order to unlock its secrets and its powers and its capacity, creating more destructive technology and more destructive power. She was able to use her dark magic and her abilities to activate a dormant dark crystal from a far distance in order to keep the insurance policy quietly ready and in check in case the plan doesn't go quietly as planned. Things will exactly escalate to that, and she exactly did so. She supplied the other secret societies of supervillains with endless destructive technologies as part of their deal and their pact to Dark Master's empire in order to exactly show them that they quietly remember the deal and the pact that they quietly made many centuries ago. And Dark Master's forces were all quietly pleased as they continue supplying them with more destructive technology and more destructive worlds. In return, they supplied them with more worlds and more planets and more civilizations under the control of Sacred Five, which is exactly part of the deal and part of the pact that they exactly made for many centuries ago. Golden Hand, on the other hand, was able to rule the Golden Universe with an iron fist, stating that he's now the new leader and the new Golden Master of the Golden Universe, with White Spot by his side, stating that now Sacred Five control those worlds and those civilizations. The inhabitants refused to bow down or to submit. The Golden Masters, who were a group of supervillains, decided to fight back against the other villains, which they exactly did so. A battle against supervillain and against villain and against evil and evil waged on for years and for months, and then exactly waged on. The decimation of the golden cities were all decimated from the skies and from the atmosphere. The battle cruisers rained down on the ground, as in the enemy fleets were all completely decimated and were all completely destroyed. ISWA was very quietly complete that Sacred Five is now taking controls of major worlds and on major territories, of major worlds and major territories, as was able to host a video conference with the members of Sacred Five on the on the on the 1st of May. On the 1st of May, he was able to host a video conference on the members of Sacred Five on the 1st of May, stating that they have controlled many territories and many worlds, and the Universal Heroes and Intergalactic Coalition didn't see that coming, meaning the rest of Sacred Existence is ours. Water Queen stated that black men will pose a magnificent threat, as he also wants power and control, and his new secret society will do whatever it takes, to controlling the other worlds and the other civilization, and he will also threaten the other worlds and other civilization and other alien and powers who pose a threat to his goal. Oswald stated that black men won't pose a threat to their interests or to his long-term plan. He will become the known ruler of the known universe, and he will rule the sacred world and the sacred universe and the other universes as he intended to do, and he will destroy them or conquer them or unlock its secrets and its powers and its capacity. As he reassured the members of Sacred Five, the plan is exactly in place the way it was supposed to be, and it's implemented by doing so. He told Powerface that it's time that it's time to inform the other Shed Empire warlords and commanders to begin the attack right away, effective immediately, which is exactly what Powerface did. The other Shed Empire warlords and commanders launched a full-scaling attack on the other worlds and the other planets, forcing the Universal Heroes and Universal Earth Heroes to exactly rush in and defend the other inhabitants of the other civilizations, which the other inhabitants of the other worlds decided to exactly help the heroes fight back against the enemy, which they successfully do so. The enemy was purposely neutralized and was quietly brought down to his knees. Some of the other Shed Empire warlords and commanders were successfully able to escape. The others were able to escape through a portal. Some of them were able to escape through teleportation with the red and yellow dark and yellow box and opening a portal and able to escape straight away. They were able to take some of them straight and sending them straight to the Astral Prison or to the Sacred Prison or to the Dark Ark or to the Dark Ark for questioning and asking them who's exactly behind this entire orchestration or orchestrated all of this to happen. Mango was able to read through his psychic mind, but Powerface was able to use his psychic ability and his powers in order to psychically send him straight into a catatonic state when we were able to exactly answer or question anything. Mango couldn't exactly get nothing or anything else, as the person remained in a catatonic state for over a year and a month, when he wasn't able to wake up ever again, put in a silent coma, and he couldn't exactly wake up ever again. ISO was able to meet with his long lost partner and also well associate known as Dark Master, stating to him that everything else is in order the way it's supposed to be. Dark Master told him that he is an ally of the Dark Fates, and the Dark Fates exactly want to end the war. Stating that it could exactly pose a very greater threat to your goals and to your plan. No, Icewall stated that no, it won't exactly pose a greater threat to his goals and to his mission. Instead, it will exactly help him controlling the other worlds and the other civilizations as fast as possible and as fast as ever, which is successfully able to do. They shook hands as before, stating that it's exactly business as usual, as the way it was meant to be many years ago. And Dark Master successfully agreed, stating that yes, indeed, old friend, indeed. ISO was able to reconvene with the members of Sacred Five on the 10th of June, stating on the 10th of June at the ancient ice temple, stating that everything else is right on track the way it's supposed to be. The plans are quietly implemented, and trafficking the superhumans and all the other superhuman race straight to the enemy would exactly create an army of superhumans in order to demonstrate that Dark Master's empire will remain the most dominant force and the most powerful empire in the known universe in the rest of sacred existence. The Water Queen and the Dark Witch were quietly successful piece, as stated that good. It's business as the way it's supposed to be, and everything else is right on track. The Universal Heroes and the Intergalactic Coalition were able to deliberately neutralize the Shadow Empire's power and capacity and its dominant force by neutralizing the Shadow Empire's power and capacity and neutralizing its agents, and as well as its forces. They took 10 or 20 Shadow Empire warlords and commanders straight into custody during their central headquarters, as they raided all the other worlds and all the other planets, liberating them from the Shadow Empire's control. And they were able to take some of the other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders straight into custody, asking them questions exactly who was behind this and who exactly orchestrated this. The other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders said that it was Power Face who was exactly behind this. Mind Girl was able to read from his mind that it was exactly speaking truth. She asked exactly who the hell is Power Face. The Shadow Empire warlords and commanders didn't exactly answer the question. Instead, he kept quiet and he they took him straight into custody and sent him straight into the Astral prison. Despite this, guys, the members of Sacred Five are cruel and ruthless. Water Queen is very ruthless and very cruel and a very power hungry villain who wants nothing but power and control over the other worlds and over the other worlds and over the other magical worlds and over the other magical worlds and over the other magical worlds and territories of the Shadow Empire. She'll do whatever it takes in order to further her own agenda and also the organization's agenda and its goals and its mission in order to further her own agenda as well as the organization's goals and plans and plans as well to come to fruition. The Dark Witch is very cruel and very ruthless. She wants nothing. She wants nothing as well. She wants nothing as well but power. 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 She wants nothing as well but power and energy and life in order to unlock the secrets of shadow energy and the secrets of the dark entities, which has been exactly doing that for millennia. What White Spot wants to rule the Golden Universe because he sees himself as the rightful ruler of the Golden Universe, and to further the ancient secret society of supervillains known as Sacred Five's goals and plans in order for them to come to fruition, and in order to exactly controlling them, the population to its will and bending it to its will. Lightmaster is a leader of a group of dark assassins, and he leads them with great authority. He uses them to further the Sacred Five's goals and plans and plans as well. And he also protects the bases where the members of Sacred Five operate from, where they can exactly maintain the individual bases. He maintains the individual bases for the organization for them to exactly operate from and exactly meet and convene. He protects them and he gives them manpower and more assassins and more Shadow Empire warlords and rogue commanders and rogue warlords and commanders in order to further the organization's goals and plans exactly. Golden Spot is very ruthless and very deceptive and very manipulative. He'll do whatever it takes to seize power and control over vast territories of the Shadow Empire warlords, and he'll further the organization's goals and plans and Iceworld's plans for himself and for himself in order and in growing, and he became a powerful influencer within the underworld, forcing the other Shadow Empire warlords commanders to mysteriously bow down and pledge their allegiance to him and also to Sacred Five. The Noten Knight is a skillful assassin and supervillain who leads a group of assassins known as the Noten Knight, and who work on the behalf of Sacred Five, who work on the behalf of Sacred Five to further Sacred Five's plans and goals by killing anyone else who poses a threat to their goal and mission, especially the Universal Heroes, the World Heroes, and the United Heroes. That is exactly what they exactly do. Sacred Light wants to rule the known universe, and he wants to become the great advisor. He wants to become the next great advisor to Iceworld, and he sees himself as a great advisor because he's a high-ranking member and a high-ranking official of the secret society of supervillains known as Sacred Five. He will do whatever it takes to further his plan and also the goals of the organization as well as his society. Sacred Face is ruthless and cruel and deceptive, and he loves to battle. He's very skilled in swordsmanship, hand-to-hand combat, marksmanship, endurance, and agility. He will do whatever it takes to further the organization's goals, its purpose, and also its goals, and also its plans. He will do just that to further its goals and as well as his plans. Well, guys, I all hope you had a very wonderful day and a very, very quietly beautiful day. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I all hope you have a great day, a very, very great day ahead. And I all hope you'll stay quietly positive and very quietly happy. So I'll see you tomorrow. So today's episode was the members of Sacred Five. So guys, I'll see you tomorrow again. Have a wonderful evening and a wonderful afternoon. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.